pouring. I can't believe it.
Yeah, they were saying there's some flooding on 95.
Oh, yeah. Monsoon. We got Dublin tuned in tonight. How about that guy, Dublin, Ireland? I sent that to you.
Yeah.
97 X4. X4. I'll be transferring one male to ECI. 303 303.
Okay, here we go, everybody. Good evening, one and
I
all.
spoke to the homeowner at
There is
2324 Diamond Hill Road. There's large branches sticking through the power line. So he said that was normal. Never trees been like that for a while. Get it tonight. Simple.
Folks, good evening, one and all. You're watching Road Patrol Live tonight. Very exciting. We are riding with the Woonsocket Police Department. Share that you are watching. We had a little bit of a delay. I figured, let's let it stop raining before we go live. Again, anyone you know in Woonsocket you want to share. And then in just a second, I'm going to show you who we're riding with. But, boy, it was really raining and coming down. It is now, thank goodness, it has stopped. And you've seen the sergeant that we have ridden with, that we posted some of the videos, but it's our first time with them live. And Sergeant, if you wouldn't mind, just introduce yourself to everyone watching and let them know tonight we're riding with the Woonsocket Police Department.
Welcome, my name is Sergeant Jesse Nuttemacher, and you're riding again with the Woonsocket Police Department. First time live tonight. It's been a relatively busy night. A little bit of rain came down and quieted things down, but we'll sure with the weekend and the warm weather, people will be out.
What can you tell us with the warm weather the past couple of days, especially yesterday? It seems like it must have been busy.
Yeah, definitely with when any type of weather change, especially with the heat, it stresses people out. People become a little bit more aggravated and agitated about things, lose their temper more often. Just frustration with the general weather conditions. And, of course, with warm weather, people are more out. They're enjoying some adult beverages, and that usually leads to bad decisions.
Now, what can you tell us? Where are we in the city right now, and where are we headed?
We're on the north end of the city up by the Massachusetts line. This is Diamond Hill Road. There's a report of a tree down on, I'm just going to go check on it with my co-workers, but they look like they cleared, so it may not be an issue.
And tell everyone, what time did your day start? What time are you going till?
My normal shift begins at 4 p.m. and it goes to midnight. So a lot of my guys out here have been working a little overtime and are out here for 12 hours.
And how is a city like Woonsocket traditionally on a Friday night?
Weekends in summer can be busy. Again, a lot of people they either worked hard and they like to try to relax. But again, with the heat, they get aggravated. It is a city, close quarters, so that can lead to frustration and some people arguing. But it is a very good city, lots of good citizens that support us. So that's nice to have.
All right, folks, we are off and running on this Friday night. Again, very exciting to be Road Patrol Live with the Woonsocket Police. So we're going to cover everything. Again, a number of shout-outs. We had gentlemen watching. As you know, folks, this is now international, so we've had good evening to everybody. I think it would be morning. They are early morning, 5 hours ahead, 6 hours ahead in Dublin, Ireland. Good evening to JR, Jeff, Roger, the whole crew over at WNRI. Good evening and hello, shout out to David at K's and everybody else. Yep, look at that. Dublin. Folks, you can put where you're watching from. We have our moderators, Ann and Robin. And just to start off, remember, we're going to have a lot of first-time viewers this time. This is Woonsocket, Rhode Island. You know, and actually, Sergeant, as we get people from literally all over the country and all over the world, you're pretty knowledgeable about the city. Tell everyone that's tuning in a little bit about the city of Woonsocket.
The city of Woonsocket is an old mill town, founded in the late 1700s, and it was basically a industrial revolution. A lot of textiles were handled in the city, so we have a lot of triple deckers and a lot of old mill buildings that have been converted into housing. The city has about 55 to 60,000 people. We're only roughly 7.5 square miles, so it is densely populated. It's definitely a white-collar town with a lot of people that still do white-collar work, and pretty much we average just under, I'd say, under 3,000 arrests a year. Our biggest problems would be domestic and alcohol or drug-related, but again, it's a small population that we deal with most of the time. A lot of the population we don't deal with.
All right, for those that are tuning in from around the country, obviously locally, people would know it sits right on the Massachusetts line, northern part of the state. A lot of times where it's situated, the news doesn't always come up to Woonsocket. But it's Friday night, and we are just underway. See what develops. Again, folks, it's live, so we're going to see exactly what could happen, especially if you have a relative that maybe grew up in the city, lives out of town. We hear a lot of that. People that like to then tune in. Just going to ask. Already some residents were saying they were going to stand on their porches. Just don't follow along. You could certainly wave or something like that, but we certainly don't want to get in the way or interfere. So we're just underway on this Friday night. And folks, it was really raining hard, but the rain has stopped. And Sergeant, it's interesting, a city like Woonsocket, I would imagine it would be fair to say it's almost like two seasons. Just in the summertime, crime has a tendency to kind of spike a little bit.
Definitely, we are definitely busier in the summertime, the warmer months, but in reality, at the city, anything could happen. It's police work nowadays in municipal departments. It's one of those things. Any night could be a Saturday night, and we could be busy, or it could be a Saturday night, and you would expect it to be really busy, and nothing happens. That's part of the reason I enjoy really working here, is that you never know what you're going to get, but we do maintain a fairly busy call volume, and there's not a lot of downtime.
And any tips for people this time of year as far as
303 1038. 303.
All right, folks, we'll let things take place.
Cumberland Hill at Ellsworth, Rhode Island, combination 158925, unknown.
You want a 302? 302 social.
So one of my guys called out with a traffic stop, and we're going to head over to that side of the city and just try to back him up. But as you were saying, if there's tips for people, probably one of the biggest issues in the city would be, I don't want to say low-level crime, but it's minor misdemeanor crime. People going through cars. Really can't stress enough that people should be out there locking their cars every night. A lot of departments, they use the term 9 o'clock, lock it up. 9 o'clock at night, lock up your car. Make sure you don't keep any valuables in it. Definitely don't leave your keys in it. You'd be surprised how many times people leave key fobs in it. Or even electronics, work laptops, stuff like that. Take that stuff out, roll up your windows and lock your cars. People will walk through the neighborhoods and really prey upon that. They're looking for cash or cigarettes, anything that they can take. And honestly, at night, air conditioners running, most people won't hear doors open or close. So that'd be a huge benefit if the citizens could help us out. That way, if we don't have to, if we deal with less of those, then we can concentrate more on other types of either crime enforcement or traffic enforcement.
And the unlocked car seems to be the common denominator.
Unlocked cars, unsecured windows, that is extremely common. Very rarely have we had individuals either pick locks or break windows. It's a crime of opportunity, and people will be walking through neighborhoods and just see it open. Also, along that same line, the juveniles will take that opportunity to try to take a joyride in a car. And it's just, the car gets damaged, you take a hit on your insurance, and then we take a risk of trying to apprehend people on something that could be easily avoided.
All right, folks, again, Friday night, you're watching Road Patrol Live. We are in the city of Woonsocket, and we're about to come to our first scene. Sergeant's going to back up a traffic stop. And what road are we on?
We're on Cumberland Hill Road right now. 315, I'm out with 303.
Again, folks, Friday night, you're watching Road Patrol Live. This is Nancy McCormick. We are with Sergeant Nuttermaker from the Woonsocket Police Department. We're involved with a traffic stop at the moment. Remember, share that you are watching. Thank you for all the stars, folks.
So my officer observed this vehicle here driving erratically, and he stopped him, conduct a registration and license check on him, and maybe issue a citation, maybe not, but it was more he was concerned with the way the individual was driving in an unsafe manner. So we're just going to stand by until this officer completes his investigation and checks.
Again, for those that are just tuning in, you're watching, folks, Road Patrol Live tonight. We're with the Woonsocket Police Department, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. We're riding with Sergeant Jesse Nunnemaker. Right now we're backing up. Traffic stop here in Woonsocket. The rain has stopped. And we're waiting and riding with the sergeant right now. Again, this is Road Patrol Live. Tonight we are live with the Woonsocket Police. Heavy rain earlier. Rain has stopped in Woonsocket. Road Patrol is rolling along. Folks, I also just want to take a moment. We have a number of exclusive stories on DePietro.com with what happened at the last resort yesterday, tragedy. Also, Cranston police body cam footage. And also, we have an exclusive of someone that escaped from the ACI. If one of the moderators could type in on DePietro.com.
So my officer conducted checks of the driver, and doesn't appear to be that he's intoxicated or that he's under the influence of anything. His license came back active, the registration came back active, so he's going to get a citation for the way he was driving, and then he's going to be cleared on his way. Hopefully this gives him a little bit of a reminder that, you got to slow down. It's summertime, it's wet out, people drive fast, and that leads to accidents. So hopefully this gives him a reminder that he can slow it down and be a little bit safer.
go through units of pennies and citations.
Yeah, what's that?
Sergeant, it seems to work well when back each other up, and in that way it's not just someone out there alone.
Yeah, always having another set of eyes, it definitely helps. In the police academy, they train us. It's called contact and cover. One officer is going to make contact with the individual, while the cover officer will, maintain a kind of safety perimeter, make sure people aren't pulling up on them. Nowadays, people with cell phones will text their friends to show up, especially if there's a loved one in the car. Then you can have an unhappy person showing up and that want to argue or try to start stuff. Additionally, people like to film the police, and that's okay. That's perfectly within their right, as long as they do it within a safe distance and they're not interfering with us. And a lot of times people just don't understand that. So that second officer is really there to make sure that everything is in the areas being safe, and then the original officer is going to make contact with the operator, conduct his investigation, either make the determination to issue a citation or how to handle the call.
That happens. They text friends and family, and they suddenly start showing up at the scene.
That does happen, especially in like I said, we're only 7.5 square miles. So if you're in the middle of the city, it's only a couple minutes to get to a person's location. And our traffic stops usually take 10 to 15 minutes if you're issuing a citation. And just do the basic paperwork, check a person's license and registration and make sure that they're legally operating their vehicle.
Folks, again, just the rain has stopped. It's a little after 9. We are in Woonsocket. You're watching Road Patrol Live. We are with the Woonsocket Police. What has been a busy week. The weather certainly has impacted things. As far as more people outside and more active. Sergeant, it is interesting. Weather can have impact on, in the wintertime, if it's freezing cold, people want to stay in, and the same thing can happen with rain.
Yeah, absolutely. The old grandmother's stories about how full moons and that affects people, that I would absolutely say after many years that's true. I don't know what it is or if it's scientific or otherwise, but heat definitely causes people definitely causes people to be irritated. Same thing if you're cooped up in a house for a long time where the weather's really cold or there's been a lot of snow. Same thing happens. It just people's natural reaction to that stresses them out, and that usually causes some type of reaction where people they have a short temper and say something that leads to some type of disturbance.
What section of the city are we in at the moment?
This is called the Burden section of the city. It's a very, very hilly, densely populated area. Lots of triple deckers. Used to be a couple mills in this location, and for the workers to get to the mills in the 1800s, they built all these triple deckers next to it. We're actually going to check on an address where several stolen vehicles have been dumped over the summer, so we're just going to make sure there's nothing, no unusual vehicles in the back here.
there's certain spots in the city where stolen vehicles are dumped.
Yeah, the people that I found that usually steal vehicles, they have places they know they can be out of the eye of people, back lots where they can get out of a vehicle, not be witnessed by people, or that if they park the car, no one would pay any attention. Kind of a hiding in plain sight situation where they appear normal, and if you weren't looking for the vehicle, no one would notice.
Folks, again, Friday night, rain has stopped. We have a number of people that watch from out of state. Woonsocket is the northern part of Rhode Island, right on the Massachusetts line. Someone sent a message, is this where the Celtics parade was today? That was actually in the city of Boston. It's about, I'd say 40 minutes from here, 45 minutes from here. So, yes, next to Massachusetts, but Sergeant, would I be correct? There's no Celtics parade here today.
There was no Celtics parade here today. Old French-Canadian city, not an Irish city.
No, that would be more closer. That was actually in downtown Boston. It wasn't in there. And yes, we are on the Massachusetts line, but not near the parade route. Not near the parade route. Is school officially out for the students in Woonsocket?
I believe all the grades at this point are out, and that we'll have this type of year we'll have a lot more juveniles out walking around, and that always leads to some type of calls for service. Kids will be kids, but unfortunately sometimes they take it a little too far, and then we get called to deal with them.
This is Hamlet Street.
Yep, this is Hamlet Ave in the city. Yep.
Folks, again, you can share that you're watching or type in someone's name, and that should notify them that we're live, especially we're getting so many requests from residents of the Woonsocket area. And now here we are live on this Friday night. Sergeant is kind enough to let us ride along with them. I also want to thank Chief Oates. Saw Lieutenant Dora early. So we'll see what develops on this Friday night. Do you find in the summertime that sometimes things can break a little bit later into the night, or is it always different?
I would say typically not 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, or 9 o'clock to midnight is a busier time. People tend to be getting home from either some type of event or party, and that's when some type of disturbance usually leads off that, or their party has been going on a while and they've been enjoying themselves a little bit too much, and that's when we tend to happen. Every shift in the city, you deal with a different type of call, whereas it's building alarms, or if you have accidents, every shift's a little bit different.
Now, what about 4th of July coming? Is that a problem with fireworks going off in the city?
It was a couple of years ago, right in the middle of COVID. We had a pretty bad year, but it's gotten better. People are pretty respectful. We have a couple people in the city that we deal with, but most people know that they need to be safe. The aerial fireworks have really decreased. as opposed to the previous years, but it hasn't been bad. We had one fire call. We have one call right now for fireworks, but I believe that's really our first one that I've heard of in that time period, or this time period.
Can that also confuse people? They think they're hearing a shots fired and it's just fireworks?
Absolutely. I'd say a lot of the police officers know that. You'll have people swear that they knew it was fireworks or vice versa, gunshots, and then it turns out to be always the opposite. But definitely always want to encourage people to call. If you're not sure, or even if you think, unless you see a firework, if you see the explosion, please call. I'd rather have my guys out there checking in on things and making sure that the city's safe and we can verify that it's not, than for something to go missed.
And in the summertime, sometimes shots fired can almost become somewhat commonplace.
I wouldn't say commonplace. It goes in waves with gun violence. We've been, knock on wood, we've been pretty good as of late, but we are a slightly urban community. It does happen. I won't say it doesn't, but they're pretty isolated. I wouldn't say it's an unsafe city, but it does happen. That's why I really encourage people, if you think you heard something, it's common. Actually, it's common for people to wait an hour. So if you hear something, give us a call right away. And then we'll get out there and check it out. It's better for us to determine that nothing happened than, God forbid, if someone was struck or shot and they can't contact the police. It's the difference of us saving a life. And if it's nothing, then it's nothing, and we get paid to deal with that. So that's not an issue.
All right, folks. Again, we are in Woonsocket, Friday night, Road Patrol Live. Just went past the Woonsocket Police Station. And again, the rain has stopped. So it was really coming down heavier. Very, very heavy earlier. And it's actually cooled off. So it's a nice night. And we'll see what develops. But again, we are live with Woonsocket Police. The sergeant kind enough let us ride with him. Again, I want to thank our moderators, Ann and Robin. And we'll just follow the night.
Group on the area, 48 Thomas Street, 33 down in the roadway.
So we're checking one of our parks. We've had a couple small undetermined fires. People there's a book sharing nook that people lit fires to. So we're just checking the area, seeing if there's anyone walking in the area. This is World War II Park, famous for our Autumn Fest that we have every Columbus Day. There's a carnival affair here.
Simply advise highway call. Thomas Street will be shut down. A large tree obstructing the entire road.
10-4, thank you. to go, and you can show me to back up 301.
Yep, okay.
Another one of my officers has a vehicle pulled over, so we're going to make our way over there to try to back him up. We're a little bit closer than the next unit, so it's a little bit safer for us to do that. Oh, no. Kids are off the ball. Off the ball right now.
Folks, again, you're watching Road Patrol Live. Tonight we are live on Woonsocket Police. Riding with Sergeant Jesse Nunamaker. Remember, you can share that you are watching. Thank our moderators, Ann and Robin, and we'll see what develops. Thank you for all the stars, folks. Thank you for supporting Road Patrol Live. Rain has stopped. It's actually a nice night.
So again, one of my officers observed a traffic violation and stopped the car, and he's just running checks on the people, and he's going to make his determination if he's going to issue a citation or not. So the officer decided to issue a citation for a violation for going through a red light. Motorists is going to have the ability to appeal if they choose to either pay it by mail or they can appeal it to court. Then a judge will decide if they were guilty of the violation or not. So we're going to clear now and see if we can find some other stuff.
All right, folks, again, you're watching Road Patrol Live.
1037.
315.
Massachusetts 5 Romeo Yankee Lima 38. It's gonna bring Sioux Falls, black vehicle, 1 time. So this is one of our parks. It's known for narcotic activity. So we're just gonna stop and make sure that this person isn't doing anything real funky. Don't go anywhere. Stop is the park is closed after dark and kind of an area for nefarious stuff. So, Miss, do you have an idea on you by any chance? What are you guys doing? All right, no worries. Do you live in Hanover? Yeah. All right, that's kind of a haul to get down here, huh? Oh, well, good for you, miss. Must be a good person if you're traveling this far. All right, let me just check your stuff and I'll get you out of here, okay? So these people, I don't know if you could hear me, but when I made contact with them, this is a city park that's not allowed to be in after dusk. It is a common area for people to come down, either just sit and watch the waterfall, but parked with your lights off, not in an area where you could watch the waterfall. That leads me to believe they could be doing some type of drug activity or be involved in something else. So we're just going to make sure that everything is active, and then we'll send them on their way with a warning. Three 1029.
That's 315.
First of Juliet, Echo November, India Lima, Echo Echo, Asta, Bravo, Echo Romeo, Golf, Echo Romeo, Oscar, November. Date of birth 1/27/06. Back. 4. Check Ronco.
Bravo 1074.
10-4, go 4. All right, so I checked their records. It doesn't appear to be, they have no criminal history that would indicate that they were involved in any type of either criminal activity or narcotic activity. So I'm just going to give them a warning and clear them out of the area.
Folks, again, you're watching Road Patrol. We are live with the Woonsocket Police.
Alright guys, well, I don't know if this officer explained to you or not that all this is city parking, these are all closed after dark stuff. So, just be careful pulling around right next to that trash pile. There's a big pothole, so don't get too close to it. And just the other officer and I are going to move forward so you guys can get out, alright? Alright, have a safe night, alright?
I just have to backfill some stuff, so it's give me 1 second here. .315 to be on. Those parties been cleared from the area. All units 10. All right.
People are asking, where's that parking? Well, that's a loud waterfall.
Yep, that's Susie Falls. It's right on the state line, and that's drains Harris Pond. That's the famous one back when they had the double hurricane and the dam broke and washed out all of downtown Woonsocket.
Doing 1030. Cumberland Street, right in the Citizens Bank. Right by the Citizens Bank. Victor Delta 806. 307. 7 copies, North Main.
Now that other officer also backed you up on that.
Yep. The way we call them beats in the city. We have 7 of them, and it's basically districts. It's just a police term that the cars are out that they specifically patrol. So typically when it's nighttime or there's any specific type of calls, we always work in pairs. So if an officer calls out with a motor vehicle stop, or they call out with an individual or other calls, they'll send 2 cars. Again, all in the abundance of officer safety. And if another vehicle is close, like the last motor vehicle stop I had was closer than the other officer, so I'll show up to make sure that, is there. Because anytime we pull over a vehicle, we don't know who's in it. We don't know what's in it. And it's better to go out there and help out your fellow officers and be safer than for something to happen.
Folks, again, Friday night, we are in Woonsocket. You're watching Road Patrol Live with Woonsocket Police. Sergeant Jesse Nunamaker. Pronounce that correctly, right? Nunamaker.
Nunamaker, yeah.
Nunamaker, okay.
At this point, I'm not even sure my family knows how to pronounce it, so.
It's the stadium.
Yep, Stadium Theater, excellent place to go see a show. Phenomenal venue. A lot of good bands come through there. It's very typical, one of our busier establishments. Excellent people run it, good staff there.
Looks like they have a show going tonight, right?
Yeah, they definitely have something going on tonight. And then we have Chan's restaurant, and then Ciro's Tavern. 3 really, probably some of the more famous restaurants and venues that people come to visit the city in.
Woonsocket residents should feel confident Woonsocket police are out 24/7 patrolling the city.
Yeah, I really hope so. I hear a lot of the older folks say, I used to know officer, such and such that used to walk a beat. Unfortunately, we don't walk beats anymore, but I do encourage people to get to know their local police officers. We have a young department of eager police officers that want to get out there and work. And being a slightly older officer and a supervisor, I really encourage my guys to make that connection to the city. If you don't know the city that you work in, or you don't know the people there, you can't build a trust, you can't build a foundation, and you don't know when things are out of place or whatnot. And that's, I usually say it's kind of like some of the people that know the city best are postal workers, because they're walking down the same route all the time. And more often than not, you can ask a post office worker, hey, is that car supposed to be there? And they'll tell you yes or no.
There's some people that remember back when they used to have to walk the beat.
Oh, yeah. There are definitely lots of people that will tell you about retired officers that used to walk the beat, because they saw these people all the time, and they knew them personally, and they made a connection. And that's something that is really actually pretty helpful to the city, making those connections. I have become friendly with a lot of people in the city, and it's just, it helped me as a young officer, but being an older person, it's a personal connection that, they're family and friends now. And I'll be the first one to admit it, that I do take advantage of it on weekends and holidays. I'll stop by a cookout and get a free hot dog or a hamburger.
Not to put you on the spot, but when did that end, the walking the beat?
Before my time, from my understanding, I would say that the regular walking the beat really ended in the 60s and the 70s. And then it has come back every now and then. We do have bike patrols that are funded. Those are excellent ways for officers to get out, and people don't expect to see police officers in this city on a bike, so they're not looking for it. You're able to sneak up on people, and again, as a community relation, it's really nice that you're free to talk to people and answer any questions or concerns they have, and hear those things that unfortunately people usually don't call the police for positive reasons. So it's good to talk to people in a positive light and get to know them. Hey, I live on a street that a police officer doesn't go on a lot, and this is what problem I have here, and this is what I'd like to do. Could I get some help with that? And that's really good for us.
Folks, again, Friday night, we are in Woonsocket, Road Patrol Live. It was raining earlier, but it stopped. It's actually turned into a nice Friday night. Remember, you can share that you are watching, or type in someone's name that will notify them. You can also put in the comments where you're watching from. Normally get this will also be on demand, so if you missed it, some people watch it at their leisure, whatever. Also have it up on YouTube, so you can always put replay or put where you're watching from. But it is Friday night, June 21st, and we are in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Northern part of the state, also right on the Massachusetts border. Rain has stopped, and it's actually turned into a nice evening. Cooled things down a little bit. high number of restaurants in the city.
There are, again, a lot of people think of Woonsocket as a smaller community, but the last census was just under 55,000, and I would guess conservatively we're several thousand above that. But there are plenty of good restaurants in the city. Earlier you mentioned Kay's, that's a good one. We have a couple new ones with River Falls and Christopher's. Fast Eddie's on River Street seems to be a popular location.
Someone from out of state was asking in the comments, Woonsocket's a 1 o'clock town, correct?
Yes. It was 1 o'clock. The establishments have to they can't serve any alcohol past that point. Again, this is another city park that we check on to make sure that there aren't people up to nefarious actions and doing things that our citizens would have to deal with. This is a softball field, and if someone was using narcotics or something along those lines, then I don't want someone to have to deal with a byproduct of that. And that is part of the police work, is some of the mundane work, the checks on the city parks and the building checks, which is a quality of life issue for everyone.
There's also a fair number of drinking establishments in the city.
There is. It's actually down. We did. Again, I've heard stories that there used to be a bar on every corner.
Wow.
And the Navy used to ship sailors up from Newport.
That's amazing.
Luckily, we don't have that anymore. And for the most part, the bar establishments we have are pretty good, responsible. We don't have as many bar fights or that type of activity you would expect.
We have 11023.
Folks, again, it's just 10 o'clock in the east. You're watching Road Patrol Live. We are riding with the Woonsocket Police, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. It was heavy rain earlier. You can still see some of the remnants of it, but it has stopped. It's actually a pleasant night. Temperature is cooled. The rain cooled things off. It's just 10 o'clock. What section of the city are we in now, Sergeant?
We are in the downtown section. Right in the heart of the city, where everyone gets lost because none of the streets make sense. I'm actually kind of surprised. I figured with the warm weather, once it cooled down, people would get out, but there is not a lot of pedestrian traffic as I would have expected this time.
Because we're out on road patrol right now. That's why.
I didn't say I was the jinx.
Yes. It's more like a deterrent. I believe it's a deterrent to crime. Well, police presence, though, definitely is a deterrent to crime.
Absolutely. Just people seeing police in the area. Unfortunately, like I said, we don't have a lot of positive contact with people sometimes. So the people that are up to nefarious activity, they naturally just get nervous. They'll feel like as if the police are watching them, they're out hunting them. In reality, we may not be. Sometimes we do notice them. Other times we're just checking the area to see if something was going on. But that mere presence does deter people from areas.
Fourth of July, a busy time in the city of Woonsocket?
Off and on. Like I said, prior, the fireworks have been down. It really depends where it falls on the weekend, whether or not we're going to have something that is going to be where people are going to have more parties, or if it's during the week and it'll be split up where some people may have a party earlier, some people may have it later.
The building at the corner is 336 Summer Street. You want to do the full? I don't hear anything. The third floor is in darkness. You want to give them a call back if you want to meet me? Yeah, well, come on.
Check on those individuals. Kind of unusual for them to be out in this type of area.
I'll look at the call. Okay.
315-1037.
315.
1 Quebec Delta 986 Rhode Island combination. Occupied 2 times. It's going to be in the parking lot of the Fairmount Street Plastics Group. Can you open it? Hey, how you doing? Sergeant on our marker from the Woonsocket Police Department. Okay. Okay. How did you end up here?
When I live over there, I knew 36 where the apartment.
On 36.
I come in, when the car not reverse, and I come in around from the house. No. Yeah.
Yep. I understand.
Yeah. I call the insurance, maybe they pick it up for the car.
Okay.
Yeah, about the mechanic.
Okay. Do you just have a license, an ID?
Yeah.
No worries, no worries.
Very,
At least it's a nice night out for it.
very busy today.
Everything
The
okay?
car, no, the car.
Everything okay besides the car?
No, okay, maybe I park in the car. I don't know, maybe some people broke it here. I don't know. Maybe in the road here in the D, but no prevent.
Okay. All right, just stay in the car for 1 second, all right?
Okay.
Yeah. So this individual is saying that is the car broke down. That he lives up the street. Just try to verify it. It's a business that's not open during the night, so it's kind of unusual. Underneath the truck appears to be wet, so it could have been here too long.
529, 1074.
Can you just ask if she's in house?
She knows it.
Is that Titan? Talk to him a little bit more.
Folks, again, let's see how this resolves. You're watching Road Patrol Live with the Woonsocket Police. Thank you for all the stars, by the way. Thank you for supporting Road Patrol Live.
Spanish or Portuguese? Spanish. So, do you live in Woonsocket?
Yeah, new.
You moved here?
36,
36 Fairmount?
36, apartment 1B.
Okay.
1B.
So you were driving here and the car broke down?
Yeah, maybe no Spanish, no. Some people take it.
So you were driving the car here and it broke down?
Spanish?
No.
Yeah, I drive it the Providence, the block. I drive it here, but the car don't reverse. I come over there around here for the parking street, but here no work.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you going to get home?
Maybe walk over there. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
By the. Sorry.
You could talk into this and it'll translate.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Go ahead, talk. You can just talk.
Ya, ok. Sí, sí, estoy llamando a la grúa del seguro para que me remolque el vehículo al taller.
you can just talk normally and it will translate.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's right here.
Yep, yep.
Oh, okay. Sí, sí. Estoy tratando de llamar al servicio de grúa de carro para remolcarlo. Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Leave a note. If you can't get the car out tonight, leave a note with your name and telephone number on the windshield.
Oh, yeah. But it's necessary today. Yeah, because that's the company. Yeah, I understand, yeah.
I would say you would have to get it out by tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah, but I need today out the vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah, today.
Okay.
Because I work tomorrow.
No, all right. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Not like it is.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night. Good luck with it. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have a good night. All right, thank you.
Disabled motor vehicle. This individual's working on it, getting removed. So this individual was driving his vehicle, had some problems with the transmission, pulled over here, tried to get it to work. He can't, unfortunately, so he's working on getting a tow to get the vehicle out of here. This is a commercial business. They need to be able to work, so he was advised if he does leave it in here, leave a note with his telephone number, and if they have to tow it in the morning, unfortunately, that's it. But seems like a good person. No reason to suspect anything otherwise than just a bad vehicle.
They're just very patiently waiting in the vehicle.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, sometimes, unfortunately, the most suspicious things sometimes are just nothing. Nothing about their actions or anything I could see in the vehicle led me to believe otherwise. Like I said, it rained. It just stopped raining, and it's wet underneath the vehicle, so that leads me to believe that they just must have pulled in, because otherwise it'd be dry underneath it. And you know, I have to watch out for the interest of the business owner, but at the same time, you know, try to give him a break, and he's going to try to attempt to get the vehicle out of there. Fortunately, a little bit of a language barrier, so able to use, you know, the Google Translate app and communicate a little bit better. That way there's no misunderstanding about leaving vehicles and stuff like that.
Now, what section of the city is this, Sergeant?
This is the Fairmount section of the city, kind of on the west end of Woonsocket.
His demeanor, he seemed very cooperative when you were talking to him.
Yes, very cooperative, relaxed. Part of being a police officer is knowing how to read people, and you can't simply rely on that all the time. You always have to have your guard up, but he was very relaxed, forthcoming with information. Everything was up to date, information-wise. So when you don't have any other clues to believe anything, you just have to go with what people present to you.
What's a tip for people if they get pulled over or they're dealing with law enforcement?
Absolutely roll down your windows, keep your hands visible. Don't try to reach for your registration, your license. Wait for the police officer to get there, because you may suspect the police officer's pulling you over for some reason, but that may not be why he's actually pulling you over. Your vehicle may match a description of a vehicle he's looking for, or he may just be pulling you over to let you know, hey, you have a taillight out. Before you get a ticket, just go get it fixed. It's a lot easier to replace a $3 bulb than it is to pay $85 ticket. So roll your windows down if possible, and then just keep your hands on the steering wheel and wait till the officer comes and talks and explains themselves to you.
So maybe just listen to the questions, and is it helpful if just the driver interacts?
Yes. Unfortunately, it's people's nature, again, to be nervous with police officers. Everyone is fearful they're going to get a ticket. A lot of the time, officers get to use their discretion to whether or not to give a ticket. So most of the time, we want to have a conversation and determine. Don't lie. Don't try to get out of a ticket by, trying whatever you've seen on TikTok and YouTube. Honesty is the best policy. Just answer the officer's questions, and most of the time that works out pretty well for people.
Nice night, but the rain has certainly put people inside.
I am really surprised. After all the heat, people are probably just simply exhausted from it and are enjoying a nice cool night. Maybe they're saving it all up for tomorrow.
Yeah.
here. No problem.
I will say another thing that goes in line with, you know, motor vehicle stops, or if you get stopped by a police officer, or if it's in a motor vehicle or a bicycle or anything, you know, just give us a second to explain ourselves. A lot of people get frustrated. Sometimes we stop you if you're running late. I understand that. You know, a police officer is human too. We have our days where nothing goes right and you're in a big rush to get places. But you know, there is a reason we stopped you. Just give us a second and let us explain ourselves so we can communicate a little bit better. That would solve a lot of problems. And usually interactions will go quicker. Again, it could be any reason from you're being stopped because you committed a traffic violation. You may, you know, have left your wallet or purse on the hood of your car and you're driving around. And if you give us a second to explain ourselves, usually things will go quicker and smoother, and then everyone can go on their way.
Do you sometimes have people that just start talking a mile a minute as soon as you encounter them?
Absolutely. Again, it's a human nature. People are nervous, and it is they tend to have, you know, some guilt. Oh, you know, I got stopped for this, or they perceive things differently, and a lot of times it just isn't the case, and you can save everyone some time if wait for the officer to make contact with it. Let the officer explain to you what's going on, and then we can either resolve the issue or clear it up and get things moving.
Have you ever encountered someone you can't get a word in edgewise?
Oh, absolutely. It comes with the job, but you know, part of being a police officer is understanding or try to be empathetic of what people are going through. Sometimes people just have bad days, and you got to try to push through it and explain to people and have that patience to get people to calm down. And that's difficult sometimes. That's police work, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But hopefully it does, and then everyone can have a better day.
I would imagine in the summertime a lot of the youth are maybe out later during the week than they normally would be.
Yes, usually without, you know, the having to get up early for school.
Yeah.
And nicer weather, definitely people are out playing. You know, even tonight I'm kind of surprised that the basketball courts are empty, or there's kids out riding their bikes. If this keeps up with you coming for ride-alongs, I think my chief may hire you.
Hey, it's a deterrent. Being out is a deterrent, I'm telling you. Right, everyone? Again, folks, you're watching Road Patrol Live. We are in the city of Woonsocket. It was very, very heavy rain earlier. And although cleared out now. It's actually the coolest it's been in a couple
Yeah,
days.
431.
You can just see through. A lot of people have stayed inside tonight. Oh, there's Fast Eddie's.
Yep, Fast Eddie's. We have our speed sign out there reminding people to wear their seatbelt. We had a bad accident there a couple weeks ago where a vehicle rolled onto its side. Again, I understand people want to enjoy the summer weather, maybe have their windows to their top down, not paying attention to their speed. But unfortunately, especially in a city like Woonsocket, it's old roads that were designed 200 years ago. They are not designed for modern day vehicles.
I think it's the proactive approach by the Woonsocket Police that has people in line.
Sure. It does make, I will say it does make for a longer night. People, I know officers didn't come here to work in a slower community. All my guys are proactive and we like to be busier. The night shift is one of the busier ones for, violent crimes that are more violent and accidents and things like that. And why we appreciate not getting wet in the rain right now, but I guess we'd say it's like it a little bit busier.
What's it like working the overnight shift in Woonsocket?
From working the midnight to 8 shift can really test you. Your body naturally doesn't want to do that. It wants the rest, so you have to fight with that. And whether if guys take energy drinks or they're drinking coffee or whatever they do to need to stay awake. But it's still, in this profession, you have to be ready at any point. And I worked the overnight shift for many years, and it can be very slow for a while, and then in the next second, things can just go crazy. And it's a challenge to stay ready. You have to get used to doing mundane tasks, but in the long run, it's really things that people do appreciate. Like I said, a lot of the people that are going through cars, that's on overnight. Yep. And to some people it may be trivial. Hey, my sunglasses got stolen, or they rummaged through my car and they never took anything. But at the same point, is people don't want to deal with that. That's not the way you want to wake up in the morning and trying to find your registration or change or even your charger for your phone. Like, that just sets people off on bad days. And if we can get out there, stop people and catch them in the act, that really is, makes a difference. And people will never know. If you catch someone before they break into the car, that person will never know, and they didn't know that they had a good weekend or day because some good police work was done.
And what section of the city is this?
We're back in the burn-in section.
Okay.
It's a little bit closer to the Blackstone River, away from the hills.
Really? Really? Yeah, I got 316 dollars up in Pond Street. Two times.
So one of our officers called out with a female that has warrants, so we're just going to try to head over there and back him up.
I'm on the court check ready. You have to call one. Double 319. 301 Penny. Copy. I just call him code 1. Transport.
Out on High Street.
Folks, share that you're watching. You're watching Road Patrol Live, Woonsocket Police. We have someone in custody.
So the other sergeant working tonight, Sergeant Rhode, witnessed a female that he's known from past dealing with, and was able to run a warrant check of her, and she has an active warrant for missing a court date. So she's going to be brought to the station, processed, and be held until she can either see the judge or bail commissioner. Did you run the other female that was on High Street?
Yeah, well, that's Monica Hope. I ran her earlier. She was negative.
10-4.
319.
Square 1. 319.
103 Brook Street, apartment 1L. It's going to be for a possible NCO violation. Caller stating her ex-boyfriend, Christopher, is on scene outside. He's going to be wearing a white shirt, black pants that have paint on them, and a black backpack.
Square 1 Rary Street. Square 19 Main Street.
So our dispatch is reporting a possible violation of a no contact order in our downtown area. So we're going to make our way over to that side of the city just to assist. It's a dead end street. It's kind of difficult to get to in case the person takes flight.
Diamond Hill, I'm in Florida, Bravo Quebec 36, Sierra Zulu, a black Toyota. What's that?
So sometimes it's not.
Devil.
It's better for us to go in with no lights, no sirens. We don't want to. If a person is aware that they could get arrested, we don't want them to be scared off. Typical for us to shut down our lights and siren as we get closer to a place, so that way we don't have to get out and run after someone.
26 miles over the Bowery. Three 307. You confirm or anything? 307, I couldn't confirm. I was trying to get his information and send the call out as quick as possible.
10-1. I'll be 10-20.
So we're gonna park up the street just in case.
Folks, again, share that you're watching. You're watching Road Patrol Live with the Woonsocket Police. Again, thank you for all the stars tonight, folks. You can see some individuals out in front. Got the K9.
So we got a report of a possible no contact order violation. We located a male matching the description right now, and we're trying to determine if there was any violation of the no contact order or not. This male was uncooperative with us, wouldn't give him his name, made a couple statements that we should arrest him. So at this point, he's just being detained for our safety and his until we can determine if a crime had occurred or not.
Can you bring your car over here? Yeah, pull it up.
I'm asking a question.
Have a seat, Chris.
Sit down. Let me ask you. Get your feet up.
Put your feet in the car, Chris.
Chris, get your feet in the car.
No, I just want you to be in the car. Come on.
Chris, cooperate with us. I'm asking you guys a question. Cooperate with us. Answer my question. I will. When you answer my question.
Yeah, as soon as you get in the car.
Okay, Chris. Put your feet in the car.
Chris, in the car. Chris, get your feet in the car. You're going to get tased in about 2 seconds. Pepper spray. You're going to get pepper spray. Stop.
Chris,
Can we get pepper spray?
I'm asking a question.
You beat the car, you're gonna get pepper sprayed. Put your feet in the car. Hold on. Chris, what's your question? I'm the supervisor. What's your question? No, the supervisor. You have, Chris, you have, come up and step up. You have one question. No, you have one question.
I have a right as a normal
Okay, Chris, what is your question?
What is the reason I'm being arrested?
Violation of a no contact.
Okay.
All right.
So now the next question is.
No, you had one. Come on, Chris. I will go back to the station and talk to you the whole time. I can't have my guys tied up right now.
Why can't you?
Because we have other calls for service. All right, you have 4 guys.
You're trying to spray me.
I'm giving you the opportunity.
You're trying to spray me.
I am giving you the opportunity to
this is on
cooperate.
camera.
It is on camera. I'm giving you the opportunity to cooperate. You need to cooperate. So put your feet up. Thank you. Thank you very much. Make sure you grab the backpack. Just 2 guys go back for processing. All right.
Is it just violation?
Well, he's going to celebrate. I'm going with him. So this individual is under arrest for violation of a no contact order. Appears to be possibly intoxicated. Uncooperative with us, preventing us from doing a search. We clearly can't put him in the back of a cruiser if we don't know what's on him. Appeared he just had a vape. Typically, it just appears probably he's upset that he's under arrest at this point, and it just being really uncooperative with us for no other reason, just to vent his frustration. Refused to get in the cruiser, and luckily I was able to talk him into it. So he's going to be brought back and processed for officer safety. We're going to have another officer go there for that. I wouldn't walk up where the sidewalks are, just FYI.
Okay.
And then be available for processing if that individual can look through.
Zero 1091 residential, 30 Church Street. Indications front door alarm.
Folks, it is now coming up on 11 o'clock. We want to thank the sergeant for a very, very interesting, enjoyable Friday night. Sergeant, excellent.
Yep, I'm glad there was a little bit of action that everyone could see and get a good idea what we deal with on a typical basis. I'd like to thank John, as usual, for keeping it quiet most of the night.
That's all right. That's my role, being a deterrent. Folks, thank you for watching Road Patrol Live with Sergeant Jesse Nunamaker, the Woonsocket Police. I want to thank our moderators, Ian and Rob and everyone. We're going to say goodnight from Woonsocket.